Libra, dear soul. Let me ask you something bold and direct. What if this Tuesday, November 18th, isn't just another date on the calendar, but the divine turning point you've been unknowingly preparing for your entire life? You didn't land on this video by accident. You've arrived here because something far greater is at work. The universe in its sacred, unseen wisdom has aligned this moment for you. And if your heart's been aching for clarity, healing, abundance, or love, you're going to want to stay. Because something miraculous is stirring. This isn't just a horoscope reading. This is a cosmic transmission. A spiritual download filtered through astrology, tarot, divine timing, and yes, for those of us with faith, through the voice of God, whispered quietly into the fabric of your destiny. Maybe you've felt it lately, the strange sense of repetition, emotional swings, or financial patterns circling back. Perhaps you've been feeling like you're being tested, like the ground beneath you is softening, shifting. That's not failure, Libra. That's spiritual preparation. That's alignment at work. That's the soft rumble of breakthrough coming closer. The stars are speaking, and if you're still here, it means you're listening. Because this Tuesday brings more than just planetary shifts. It brings a miracle. A divine gate is opening for your sign, and only those who are awake, present, and energetically tuned will step through. Here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot, this space isn't just about predictions. It's about soul guidance, healing, liberation. It's about helping you reconnect with your deepest truth and rise in sync with cosmic momentum. Every message you hear today is here to remind you of your divine identity, not to give your power away, but to help you claim it fully. And so, before we dive into the rich insights that lie ahead, let me take a moment to speak directly to your heart. Let me express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every like, every comment, every time you hit subscribe, you're not just supporting this channel. You're participating in your own transformation. You're saying yes to your path, yes to healing, yes to miracles. And I thank you truly for walking this sacred path with me. So stay with me until the very end of this video, because what the universe is about to reveal will not only inspire you, it will shift the way you see yourself, your purpose, and your future. And now, tell me this, my beautiful Libra soul, what called you here today? What inner voice brought you to this message on this day, at this time? There are no coincidences, only alignment. If you feel even the slightest sense that this message is meant for you, I invite you to anchor your energy right now by commenting the number 777 below. Let that number become your confirmation, a sacred yes to the miracle that's making its way into your life. Let's begin. Something subtle but undeniable begins to stir when we witness the alignment of such sacred symbols both in the stars and in the cards. This isn't just a reading, it's an energetic reflection of what has already been forming within you. The presence of the star, the lovers, and the Six of Wands in this particular spread is not only rare, it's divinely layered. Each one reflects a dimension of your personal evolution, Libra, and their emergence right now points to a cosmic echo affirming, your time is now. The star speaks directly to the part of you that has been quietly enduring, healing, hoping. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't demand proof. Instead, it gently lights your way forward like a lantern in the dark. And isn't that how healing works? Slowly, quietly, invisibly at first. Until one day, the ache lessens. The old stories soften. The tears dry without you even noticing. The star reminds you that you have already begun that journey, perhaps long before you realized it, and now, your spirit is ready to rise from the ashes of what no longer defines you. Alongside that, we see the Six of Wands, the long-awaited public recognition. But don't mistake this for shallow applause. This is soul-level acknowledgement. The kind that comes not just from others, but from you finally seeing yourself. It's the feeling of looking in the mirror and no longer flinching. Of showing up to life with your head high and your heart open. You may have worked in silence, healed in solitude, carried burdens that few ever noticed, but now the universe is orchestrating the moment when your light can no longer be dimmed. And maybe, just maybe, you're ready to be seen. Then comes the Lovers, perhaps the most misunderstood card in the deck. Most think it's only about romance. But here, in this sacred moment for Libra, it represents something far deeper: union. Not just with a soulmate, though that may be part of it, but a reconciliation within yourself. It's about all the parts of you, the logic and the feeling, the light and the shadow, the past and the possible, finally saying yes to each other. The Lovers invites you to come home to yourself first, so that whatever connections enter your life from here on are simply mirrors of the wholeness you've reclaimed. As if the cards weren't enough, the sky itself has a message, and it's loud. Venus, your ruling planet, harmonizing with Jupiter, the generous expander, brings a softness and abundance that hasn't graced your chart in quite some time. Add to this the influence of the gibbous moon in Pisces, a time of spiritual revelation and intuitive clarity, and it becomes clear: this isn't just a good week. This is an anointed one. When cosmic frequencies align like this, they open energetic doorways that allow us to step into timelines we once only dreamed of. There is something deeply reassuring about knowing that timing isn't random. It's sacred. And you, dear Libra, are now standing at a threshold. You've been waiting for a sign that it's safe to move forward, to trust again, to receive without guilt, to let go without fear. This alignment says, the door is already open. You're not late. You're not behind. You're exactly on time for your miracle. And maybe, for just a moment, let yourself imagine what it would feel like if you truly believed that. What choices would you make if you trusted that heaven is already working in your favor? What would shift inside you if you knew that love, recognition, and healing weren't rewards but birthrights you're finally remembering? This moment is a pause in your busy world to whisper that you're not forgotten, that something bigger has been quietly organizing your blessings behind the scenes. You don't need to control how it comes. You only need to say yes when it knocks. So as you listen to what follows, I invite you to breathe that truth in. And if your spirit feels the resonance of this message, leave a comment below and say, I receive the light of this moment. Let it be your sacred reply, your acknowledgement that you are not just watching this message, you are living inside it. There's something extraordinary that begins to unfold when silent effort meets divine timing, and Libra, this is exactly what's happening for you now. The energy surrounding November 18th isn't subtle, it's layered with meaning, abundance, and long-awaited release. Not because the stars are just being generous out of nowhere, but because you've been sowing seeds in faith, in stillness, and often in solitude. From as far back as April 2023, you've shown up, made choices, endured uncertainty, and continued to move forward even when results were invisible. And now, the return is near. The vault of spiritual and financial harvest is gently creaking open. Many people think of abundance as random good luck. But those who understand universal law and especially the law of attraction know this. Abundance doesn't just fall into your lap. It builds, over time, through unseen alignment. It's a response to your energy, your vibration, and yes, your patience. What may appear like a sudden financial miracle is often just the visible arrival of blessings that have been orbiting you for months, waiting for the perfect moment to land. When we speak of unexpected financial shifts, we're not just talking about paychecks or promotions. We're speaking of those rare, almost surreal moments when forgotten investments suddenly gain value. When closed accounts reopen. When someone remembers an old debt they owe you. When the government sends a notice you weren't expecting and it's in your favor. When an inheritance, a settlement, or a legal asset that's been held up finally clears. These are not coincidences. They're confirmations. And Libra, the energy you've held, the grace with which you've waited, is being seen. You may have noticed numbers like 1111, 888, or even 34 repeating around you. Don't dismiss them. These numbers carry energetic signatures, and they act like spiritual invoices, coded messages that what was sent out is on its way back. Especially 888, a number tied deeply to financial prosperity, infinite flow, and balanced karma. When it appears often, it's a reminder, something is aligning. A door is preparing to open. Still, this isn't just about money. It's about what money represents. For many, financial freedom means choices. Relief. Breathing room. The end of survival mode. And what makes this particular shift so significant is that it isn't fleeting. This isn't about quick wins or unstable windfalls. This is about sustainable increase rooted in integrity, responsibility, and inner transformation. Because when abundance arrives after a long wait, it doesn't just change your account. It changes your posture, your confidence, your relationship to worth. I often remind people that blessings are rarely just external. What's shifting in your material world is a reflection of what's already shifted inside you. You've released scarcity thinking. You've said no to what drains you. You've trusted your intuition even when logic told you otherwise. You've honored your truth and now life is honoring you back. If you feel uneasy about receiving, let this be your permission. It's okay to have more. It's okay to receive with open hands. It's okay to live in ease without guilt. And while this isn't about religion, I do believe there's timeless wisdom in spiritual truths, especially in this one. When you ask with belief and knock with faith, the door opens. Not always instantly. Not always the way you imagined. But eventually, yes, it opens. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible to the higher forces of good. So when these blessings begin to appear, and they will, don't shy away. Don't explain them away. Say thank you. Receive with grace. Let it be a reminder that even in seasons where it feels like nothing is happening, everything is. And maybe now, Libra, is the time to start living as if the miracle is already in motion. If this resonates with what you've been sensing lately, I invite you to comment below and affirm it. Say, I am open to receive what's already mine. Let that be your sacred yes, your energetic handshake with the abundance now flowing your way. Sometimes, love doesn't enter our lives like a thunderclap. It doesn't always arrive with fireworks or grand declarations. Sometimes, it returns quietly as a deep knowing. A sense of familiarity you can't explain. A feeling in your chest that whispers, "You're safe here." Libra, the energy flowing into your heart space around November 18th isn't about chasing something outside of yourself. It's about magnetizing something that has always been written into your path whether you were aware of it or not. This isn't the kind of love that teaches you through pain, imbalance, or repeated patterns. You've outgrown that. You've done the inner work. You've asked the hard questions, sat with the silence, and peeled back the layers. And now, the energy you carry is calling in what truly aligns. Not just with your desires, but with your evolution. If you're single, don't be surprised if you feel pulled towards someone in a way you can't reason through. It may feel subtle at first, a conversation that feels oddly soothing, a connection that makes time feel like it bends. But this isn't about instant gratification. It's about spiritual familiarity. A kind of internal remembrance that says, "I've seen you before." Because in many ways, you have. Some connections are not made in this lifetime, they are continued. And if you're already in a relationship, this is your moment of reset. There may have been miscommunication, emotional distance, or that slow erosion that comes from life's noise. But the energy now is healing in its purest form. It's not about forcing a spark, it's about nurturing the flame that still lives beneath the ashes. The kind of reconciliation that doesn't just clear the air, but rebuilds the foundation stronger than it was before. This time, you're not fighting to stay connected, you're choosing it, together. In astrology, when Venus, your ruling planet, enters harmonic alignment with expansive energies like Jupiter, we often see a bloom in love, forgiveness, and emotional harmony. But what makes this season especially potent is that it's not just about pleasure or attraction. It's about readiness, emotional maturity, emotional intelligence. The Lover's card, which has appeared in your reading, doesn't simply speak to romance. It speaks to mirrored evolution when two souls arrive at the same point of self-awareness, and choose to walk forward together. Love, when it is real, does not interrupt your path. It walks beside it. It doesn't demand you shrink. It encourages your expansion. The right person won't feel like a detour. They will feel like home, not because they complete you, but because they respect your wholeness. This is the kind of connection that pushes you toward purpose, not away from it. And it's worth saying that true love often requires space. It needs time to arrive when you're no longer projecting, hoping, or begging, but simply being. When you can stand in your own energy, fully. That's when love sees you clearly. That's when it recognizes you. In a world that often tells us to settle, to compromise, to wait for the other to change, this season reminds you, you deserve a connection that meets you where you are. And if it doesn't, you don't have to hold on. Sometimes, the miracle isn't just in finding someone. It's in realizing that you are finally ready to be found. So as this energy unfolds, take a breath. Let go of the old story. Let the heart soften, not for anyone else, but for you. Let love surprise you, return to you, remind you. And if this message touches something in you, feel free to speak it aloud or type it below as a sacred affirmation. I am ready for the love that aligns with my truth. That alone may be enough to open a door you never saw coming. Recognition has a curious way of arriving, not when we shout the loudest, but when our quiet consistency finally resonates in the right room. Libra, the energy surrounding your professional life right now isn't about sudden luck or fleeting applause. It's about earned visibility. Not just being seen, but being seen clearly for who you are, for what you've built, for how you've kept showing up even when no one was watching. The King of Pentacles has appeared in your reading for a reason, and it speaks volumes about the kind of leadership energy you're stepping into. This card isn't about chasing opportunity. It's about embodying it. It represents maturity, security, and mastery over time. And that's exactly what's unfolding for you. You've been sowing diligence, devotion, and discipline all under the surface, and now the surface is breaking open. The roots you once planted are strong, and the fruits are about to become very real. This season brings an unexpected wave of validation, but not through the usual competitive grind. You may be offered a role you once believed was out of reach. A collaborator who once dismissed your ideas may return with a new proposal, this time with respect in their tone. An old project you thought was lost may suddenly reappear with renewed energy and financial potential. These openings aren't random. They're rerouted blessings, sent back to you once you were aligned enough to fully receive them. In astrology, the transits between Venus and Saturn, or Jupiter and your career sector, often signal these breakthrough moments. They are moments when cosmic timing collides with lived preparation. And it's important to understand this: success isn't just about timing. It's about readiness. It's about having the internal foundation strong enough to hold what you once only hoped for. You're no longer in a phase of proving yourself. You're in a phase of embodying yourself, and that's why the light is now finding you. Many people live their lives waiting to be discovered, hoping someone will finally notice their value. But the most magnetic kind of visibility comes when you no longer crave it. When your work becomes an offering, not a transaction. When your purpose speaks louder than your resume. That's the energy you've cultivated. And now, the return is inbound, not because you've demanded it, but because you've become it. In the busyness of our modern lives, it's easy to overlook how deeply spiritual our work truly is. Not in a religious sense, but in the way it calls us to serve, to grow, to become more responsible with what we carry. Some people discover their power on a stage. Others in a boardroom. But for you, Libra, this moment of elevation is sacred. It is a testimony to the quiet seasons you endured, to the nights you stayed late, the ideas you protected, the resilience you never gave yourself credit for. This is divine timing disguised as professional advancement. Let this next chapter be led not by urgency, but by clarity. You don't have to chase the next big thing, because the next big thing is chasing you. All that's required is for you to stay open, grounded, and receptive. Be ready to say yes to the invitation that feels aligned even if it wasn't in your original plan. And if any self-doubt tries to creep in, gently remind yourself, you didn't just arrive here. You grew here. If something inside you stirs as you hear this, if your intuition feels activated, take a moment to affirm it out loud or in the comments. Say, I welcome the recognition I've earned. Let that intention ripple out into the field of potential that surrounds you. You've done the work. Now let the reward find you. Not everything in life needs to be forced into motion. Some things unfold when we align, when our internal frequency rises to meet the very thing we've been calling in all along. Libra, as you move into the potent energetic space of November 18th, this is not a time to wait passively. This is a time to participate, to engage your own energy field with intention, gratitude, and clarity. Not to make something happen, but to create resonance with the miracle already heading your way. When we talk about rituals, especially ones involving breath work, visualization, and physical symbols like coins or candles, we're not talking about superstition. We're talking about energetic tuning, the way a radio must be on the right frequency to receive a broadcast. Your desires are already being transmitted from the higher dimensions. But to receive them clearly, your own inner signal must match the vibration of what you're asking for. This is where intentional practice comes in. Writing a letter of gratitude to the universe as if your desires have already arrived isn't just a feel-good exercise. It's a neural and spiritual alignment tool. When you write, "Thank you for the financial increase. Thank you for the love that returned. Thank you for my healing," you aren't pretending. You are activating the part of you that is capable of receiving. You are reminding your subconscious that it is safe, possible, and natural to have what you deeply want. Gratitude in advance isn't wishful thinking, it's vibrational leadership. The altar you create doesn't need to be grand. In fact, the simpler it is, the more powerful it becomes. A coin symbolizes circulation, the energy of value flowing in and out of your life. A white petal holds purity, receptivity, and the softness that allows love to enter without resistance. A quote you trust becomes an anchor, a reminder that faith doesn't need evidence to be real. And the candle, the flame, is your soul's unwavering spark, your internal North Star, your willingness to keep shining even in uncertainty. The breathwork 18 conscious inhales and exhales is the physical gateway. With every breath in, you are welcoming divine clarity, creative life force, and the golden light of what's possible. With every exhale, you are gently releasing what no longer serves, self-doubt, old fears, inherited beliefs that whisper you're not ready or not worthy. Breath is sacred. It is the bridge between body and spirit, between thought and manifestation. Doing this on or around November 18th magnifies its power. Why? Because the cosmic weather is supportive. Planetary alignments are opening energetic gateways, and participating in this practice allows you to step through one consciously. You don't need to know how it works to feel that it does. And often, the most powerful shifts come not from understanding everything logically, but from choosing to believe in your own role as a co-creator of your life. In my years guiding people through transformation, I've seen something beautiful and consistent. Miracles tend to arrive in the lives of those who create space for them. They don't chase, they align. They don't wait for proof, they live in expectancy. And yes, many of them have busy, practical lives, but they still carve out 5 or 10 minutes to ground, to visualize, to remember their own inner power. If you've been longing for change, try this. If your life feels stuck in patterns, engage in this process not to fix yourself, but to return to your natural rhythm, the one that flows with grace, not struggle. And if you're already on the path, let this be your moment of expansion. When you complete the ritual, take a breath, place your hand over your heart, and whisper, "I am ready now." You might be surprised at how the energy around you begins to respond. If this resonates with you, I invite you to comment below with the words, "I align with the miracle." Let it be a personal affirmation, a signal sent into the field that you're not just waiting for magic. You're inviting it in. Libra, you didn't just stumble into this moment, you arrived here because something within you has been calling out for confirmation, for alignment, for something bigger than the routine of everyday life. And if you're still here, listening, feeling this deep pull in your chest, it means you're ready to receive what's always been waiting for you. The truth is, the universe doesn't just hand miracles to those who ask once and walk away. It responds to consistency, to softness wrapped in strength, to the quiet courage of those who fall 7 times and stand up 8. It responds to souls like yours. You are not late, and you are not behind. You are simply at the turning point, the moment where preparation meets divine opportunity. That's what November 18th represents for you. Not just another date, not just another reading, but a gateway. A choice. And the most beautiful part is, it's not about chasing anything. It's about aligning. You don't need to rush forward in fear, Libra. You simply need to lean in with faith, with clarity, with the willingness to show up for yourself in a new way. All of the insight you've received today through the wisdom of the tarot, the messages in the stars, and the resonance you felt in your body wasn't just information. It was activation. And now it's in your hands. What will you do with it? What would change if you actually allowed yourself to believe you were chosen for a miracle? If you stopped doubting and started preparing? What would shift if you gave yourself full permission to be worthy of love, abundance, and healing, not someday, but now? That is your invitation. That is your call. Not to fix who you are, but to remember who you've always been. Someone who carries light even when the room is dark. Someone who chooses love even when pain feels easier. Someone who listens deeply, even when the world is loud. And now, someone who is being asked to step forward, not with noise, but with presence. So I ask you, beautiful Libra soul, what resonated most with you today? What insight are you taking with you into the days ahead? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you're feeling it in your bones, if this message spoke to a quiet place inside you, go ahead and type, I believe, and I am ready. Let that be your declaration. Let it echo in the field around you. Because once you declare your readiness, the universe moves faster than you think. If you felt seen, supported, or uplifted by this video, don't forget to like it, not just for me, but as a sacred agreement with yourself. And if there's someone in your life who's walking through uncertainty, who might need this reminder of divine timing and inner power, share this message with them. You never know how one whispered truth can shift the course of someone else's life. Thank you for spending this sacred space with me today. Your presence here means more than you know. Every comment, every like, every subscriber helps amplify this message and allows me and this channel, Zodiac Whisper Tarot, to continue showing up for souls like yours, who are on the edge of something extraordinary. And trust me, Libra, you're not just hoping anymore. You're becoming.